Welcome back to Buy or Sell, the series where you pitch me your predictions for the theme park world, and I either buy or sell them and explain why. If you want your idea considered for the next video, leave a comment below starting with buy or sell. In this episode, we look at who may be building Dollywood's next big coaster, what kind of thrill rides we can expect from Six Flags, and if we may be seeing the beginning of the end for the Vekoma SLC. This is Buy or Sell, episode 17. Let's start with Colt Smallwood. With the opening of Lost Island in Waterloo, Iowa, the competition with Adventureland will lead to both parks getting better. Suddenly, there's a theme park war in Iowa, and I'm all here for it. Adventureland has been growing pretty fast over the last 7 years, opening 4 coasters since 2016, and now they have an up-and-coming park less than 2 hours away. Lost Island got off to a bad start, but 2023 should be much better, being fully open and getting their star coaster open. Madugani is an intimate accelerator, and it looks like it's worth the price of admission. Lost Island also has a water park that has been open since 2001, so that should help feed some revenue to build up the dry park. Right now, it's no contest. Adventureland has a big head start, but over time, if Lost Island can get their footing, they will be in direct competition being so close to each other, and not much else being nearby. I'm buying this. I absolutely think these parks will drive each other to be better, but that will only happen if Lost Island can have a good rebound year in 2023 and build on that. I'll be there this summer to check it out for myself. Jadney Parks. In the next 10 years, Knott's Berry Farm will RMC Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider opened in 1998, and by 2015, it had gotten so rough they needed to do something about it. They weighed some different options, RMC included, and chose GCI to give it a complete retrack and replace the trains with Millennium Flyers. It took 17 years to need an overhaul. Now they're 7 years into the retrack. So, in 10 years, they might be right back where they started from and something may need to be done. That being said, I'm selling this. Ghost Rider is extremely popular as it is, and I think when it's time for another major decision, they will choose a wooden retrack, possibly a Titan track at worst. I don't know how common wood retracks will be by 2033. It's not like they need to revive an old, dead, rough wooden coaster. Ghost Rider is still their rock star, and a wood retrack has to be way cheaper than the RMC overhaul. Rick's Robin. Fun Spot will make Atlanta their flagship park. I'm buying this. The Fun Spot parks in Florida have their niche. They're mainly nighttime destinations, mainly for the younger crowd, a place that really thrives once people leave SeaWorld, or Disney, or Universal, and they have a nice collection of rides, but they're pretty small, and it is what it is. Fun Spot Atlanta has a lot of space around it. The only other show in town is Six Flags, and if they're going to take a more family approach, or people get fed up with the way that Six Flags is run, Fun Spot could be a good alternative. When they announced they were getting an RMC, me, and I think almost everyone else, was thinking it was going to be a family coaster, not one of the biggest RMCs in the country. This was a serious power move, especially when Twisted Cyclone is just a half an hour away. I would not be surprised if this park sees some more major additions in the next 5 years and beyond. Stuffed Animal Video. Fun Spot continues working with RMC, putting something by them at all their parks. So here's something different. I wrote my responses for this episode back on April 15th, right before we found out that Mindblower was getting some new RMC track this year. So just for fun, not knowing that yet, this was my response. It seems like these companies will gauge their experience with a new manufacturer first. Then they either dive all in with them or stay far away. Six Flags loved RMC from the start. Cedar Fair didn't have such a great experience, buying their first 3 in 2018 and nothing since. Fun Spot may be keeping an eye on Air Force One, seeing if it's going to have a smooth first year. No major downtime, no bumping in the station. I'm sure the guests will love it, so let's assume it all goes well. Will we see RMCs in their 2 other parks? I'm buying this. A Raptor is such an easy pick here, just perfect for a park like Fun Spot, but I don't think both parks are going to get one. But look at Mindblower. Something went very wrong with that ride. It's been rough from the start, and I imagine it'll only get worse. I'm not even sure our retracking will help. Fun Spot may see some value in giving it the RMC treatment. So, Raptor for Orlando, Iron Horse for Kissimmee. I can see this happening. Okay, now that we know that Mindblower isn't going to get fully RMC, just getting some track to help with the bad spots, that changes my answer. Now I gotta sell this. These parks are too close together to both get a Raptor, and even though it's possible for one of these parks to get an iBox coaster like Air Force One, I don't really see it happening. I'd be surprised if neither of these parks get a Raptor, but I would also be surprised if they both got an RMC at this point. Coaster Hour. Dollywood will get a Vekoma Hyper in the future. I think a hyper is a logical addition for Dollywood. It's a slam dunk crowd pleaser, but they're sandwiched between Carowinds and Over Georgia, and they already have prolific B&M hypers. It would make sense to ask Vekoma to build this hyper. We know it's in their portfolio. They were about to build one for Energylandia. Dollywood's last 2 coasters have come from Vekoma, but I'm selling this. It's not about it being impossible. I think it could very well happen, but there are other options. You got Intamin. They're still building mega coasters, and I don't think Hershin is anti-Intamin like Cedar Fair. You also got Mach. They make great looking hypers, and we know Hershin works with Mach. I think these tried and true models are more likely than a Vekoma prototype. Jumpin' Jack Flash. With the closure of T3 and Mind Eraser, we're gonna see at least one more SLC close in 2023. I know a lot of enthusiasts are excited about this. Most SLCs are pretty bad. There are some exceptions, but no matter what you think of them, this year has not been kind to the SLC. The 2 that shut down are some of the worst of the worst. I am not surprised to see T3 go. That's something I predicted back in 2021 to happen in 2022. I didn't renew that prediction for 2023, but it's still no shock. This is the shakiest SLC I've ever ridden. Those restraints dig into your legs. It's just a miserable ride. Kentucky Kingdom is owned by Hershin. They're not exactly a discount chain. It made sense to me to remove it and replace it with something new. Something people would actually enjoy riding. Hey, what a concept. And then we have Mind Eraser at Six Flags America. That one really stunned me. I didn't expect any Six Flags coaster to go under, let alone a coaster at Six Flags America, a park that hasn't gotten a new coaster since 2014, and hasn't gotten a brand new ground-up coaster since 2001. I thought they would milk this SLC for all it has. Being built in 1995, it's one of the oldest ones. T3 is also from 1995, and this model only dates back to 1994. So, are we seeing the start of a purge of Vekoma SLCs? I don't think so. But if the question is if we're gonna see another one announce its closure in 2023, I'm buying that. Six Flags is willing to do this. I didn't expect that, so maybe Kong at Discovery Kingdom or Mind Eraser at Darien Lake are in danger. Those are also some of the worst SLCs out there. Cedar Fair is also not afraid to remove outdated coasters, and ever since 1995, Flight Deck has been sitting there, just torturing its riders. As for Hershin, they have one other SLC in the chain, Twisted Typhoon at Wild Adventures, but I think that one is safe. It's one of the better SLCs that I've ridden, and it's the best coaster in the park. I think, more than anything, 2 SLCs closing together is a coincidence. There's no trend to follow, but I'm still buying that at least one more goes down this year. I got 37 options, so I like my odds. Cameron Buchholz. Frontier City's next ride will either be a Starflyer or a drop tower. I gotta add a question about my home park. My sad little home park that rarely gets any investment. So let's find a reason for optimism. Frontier City has been back under Six Flags control since 2018, and their first move was to upgrade the kids area. After that, COVID kinda screwed everything up. There was a change in management, and the park is back in the dark, but hopefully not forever. I'm buying this for the Starflyer. When Six Flags acquired Frontier City, they also got Darien Lake at the same time, and their first edition was a Starflyer. I can see something like this coming to Frontier City. It wouldn't be very big, but there's nothing else like it in the park. I bet it would be very popular. It also takes up a very small footprint, and that's important for a small park like this. Coaster friends. If the Nemesis Retract is a major success, other parks will do this to their older B&Ms. I'm buying this, but only in certain cases. First, I'm sure the Nemesis Retract will work. It definitely worked for the Hulk, so that's not a big concern. There will be a lot of different factors that go into this decision. It will have a lot to do with the popularity of the ride. Will Six Flags America do this for Firebird? I really don't think so. Will Cedar Point do this for Raptor? I think yes. But would Cedar Point do it for Rougarou? I say no. Would Six Flags do it for most of their Batman clones? I think yes. They're gonna weigh if the cost of retracking their old B&M makes sense, versus tearing it out for a whole new ride. In most cases, I gotta think the parks would be better off with a new ride to market, not spending all this money just to fix an existing ride. Yeah, I know, people will be happy their B&M isn't gone, but it's not gonna make them excited to come to the park like a new ride would. Hulk and Nemesis are iconic, so those aren't gonna be the norm, but I bet some other coasters get the same treatment. Scotty Mullen. We will see RMC build a whole new ride concept before the T-Rex gets built. We've been talking about the T-Rex for a long time, and I can see why. It's one of the most intriguing concepts ever, not only because it's RMC and they have great elements, but because this could be the new tallest and fastest ride. RMC themselves said it could go over 500 feet, but it seems like this was shelved, and they weren't going to pick it up until some park shows some interest, and we haven't heard much since. As far as I know, RMC doesn't have another model in the works. I may be wrong, but they've been working on a family hybrid coaster, and they're gonna open a family-friendly Raptor at Walibi Holland in 2025. But these aren't new concepts. I'm selling this because we already know what the T-Rex would be. Basically, a supersized single rail coaster with 2 across seating, and anything else is completely unknown at this point. Princess Flora 42. There will be a new coaster built at a theme park named after a major sports team. If you haven't already seen it, check out Coaster John's series on coasters themed to NFL teams. It's very interesting, and it was inspired by Steel Curtain. For this to happen, it would need to be a park that's closely tied with a passionate fan base, just like how Kennywood is tied in with Pittsburgh and the Steelers. I think Steel Curtain caught everyone's attention, and there's some park out there somewhere that's trying to do something similar, so I'm buying this. It seems like this would make the most sense at an independent park, but not necessarily. Maybe Lagoon does something with the Utah Jazz, for example. Some parks are very closely tied with teams that are very close to the park, like California's Great America and the 49ers share a parking lot, though you could argue that Gold Striker is kind of a 49ers themed coaster. Also, Six Flags Over Texas and the Rangers of the Cowboys. Worlds of Fun could do something with the Royals or the Chiefs, Six Flags St. Louis with the Cardinals. Carowinds can do something with the Hornets. Well, that's already been done. Maybe the Panthers. Then you got Valley Fair with the Vikings, Bay Beach with the Packers. This one seems obvious. Come on, Green Bay, make it happen. So many possibilities, one is bound to happen. Frontier Coasters. Six Flags will continue to focus mainly on families, but will also invest in expensive thrill rides. Let's see. The last time Six Flags invested in a major expensive thrill ride, you gotta go back 17 years. I'm thinking about all the coasters they added in 2006. Tatsu, El Toro, Goliath. Since then, maybe Dr. Diabolical, but not really. Then you add on Salim Basul's plan to make the parks more family friendly, and this seems even less likely. He said he didn't want to add any more coasters to the major parks. They already had enough coasters, according to him. And even though I think he may be rethinking that logic, I would still be stunned to see an expensive thrill ride come to the chain, so I'm selling this. I bet starting in 2024, we will see some cheap to mid-tier coasters come back to the chain, possibly starting with Great Adventure for the 50th anniversary. I still think something like West Coast Racers isn't out of the question, and it would be a great fit. Just don't expect any mock extreme spinners, Intamin mega coasters, B&M wing coasters. That wasn't happening before Salim Basul, and it's certainly not happening now. That's a wrap on episode 17. Let me know what you think of any of these topics, if you agree or disagree, and why. Also, don't forget, if you want your idea considered for the next video, leave it in the comments below, starting with buy or sell. Before you go, don't forget to drop a like, and if you're new here and love coasters, please give me a sub. I have a playlist with all the buy or sell episodes. Also, check out my links below for my Discord server, and my second channel where I post copyright-free off-ride footage, and my baseball channel if you also happen to love baseball. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.